Hi guys, welcome to The Outfit. My name is Chris and today I'm going to be introducing you to the Jackery Solar Generator 2000 Plus. Now in a nutshell, Jackery has combined their Explorer 2000 Plus with their Solar Saga 100 watt solar panel. This unit will take 6 of these 100 watt solar panels for a huge solar array. Now if you're unfamiliar with Jackery as a brand, they are leaders in the field of portable power stations and solar panels. They've been around for about 11 years, they're huge in the States and they're now releasing some awesome products here in Australia. Okay, let's crack into it. So the Jackery Explorer 2000 Plus is a 2000 watt unit with a 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter built into it, and that has a peak surge capacity of 6000 watts. Now Jackery uses state-of-the-art LFP batteries, so they're a Life PO4 lithium battery inside, and they have a lifespan of 4,000 hours before reaching a maximum capacity of 70%. So that's something like 10 years. The unit itself has a 5-year warranty. It also has its own smartphone app, so you can monitor its usage, charging capacity, inputs, outputs, things like that. It also has Charge Shield technology, which not only boosts the rate of charge, but also has something like 62 different protective measures in place. Now, one of the really cool things about this unit is you can purchase add-on battery packs, which are stackable on the unit. They will boost it from 2 kilowatts to a whopping 12 kilowatts, so you could power your whole house with that. Now its 3000 watt output power means you can run appliances like refrigerators, induction cooktops, air conditioners all at once. The unit has an ultra long standby, which means it will hold 50% charge for up to 2 years. It's an incredibly quiet unit which totally trumps conventional generators. Okay, let's talk dimensions. So it is 47.3 centimeters wide by 35.94 centimeters deep by 37.36 centimeters high, and the unit itself weighs 27.9 kilograms. And it will charge from the wall in 1.7 hours. Okay, so let's go over some features of the Explorer 2000 Plus itself. So it has dual handles here on the side. The unit itself has double wheels, so it is portable and movable, with a telescopic retractable handle. Then going to the front here. So first up we've got our main power button. So not only does that turn the unit on, but it also displays the screen when the screen goes into standby mode. Over here on the right we've got a 10 amp DC 12 volt port, so that's your normal car charging style port. Below that we have the button to turn on the DC output. We have dual USB-A 18 watt max USB ports. Below that we have dual USB-C 100 watt max ports here. We have the power button to turn the AC output on, so that turns on that pure sine wave inverter inside. And we have 3 AC outputs. So they are 10 amp ports each, like your normal household sort of appliance, and now that 230 volt. Now on the back here on the right, we have the DC expansion port. That is the area where you can plug in the expandable batteries if you go down that route. And then on the left, we have another little flap, which gives us an AC input reset, the AC 230 volt power cable, so that's your input to charge the unit up. And we have dual DC inputs as well, so that's for charging from solar. Comes with a little carry bag which has in it 2 different charging cables, one 12 volt from your vehicle, so the 12 volt sort of lighter socket style, and then you've also got your AC power cable. Now just briefly some specs on the Jackery Solar Saga 100 watt solar blanket. So it is 61 centimeters long by 53.5 centimeters wide, and it is only 3.5 centimeters thick, and it weighs 4.69 kilograms. Has 2 USB inputs inside. It has some foldable stands which velcro on, magnet at the top. It's a nice little unit, and that has an IP65 waterproof rating. Okay, so now let's go into some real world usage of the unit and the panel combined. So I received the unit and I unboxed it yesterday. It came out of the box at 31% capacity. It was a really nice bright sunny day, not patchy cloud like it is today. So at 9 AM we put the solar panel out, plugged it into the Jackery Explorer Plus, and basically turned the blanket every sort of hour and basically made sure that it was always facing the sun as efficiently as possible. And we did that from 9 AM till 5 PM, so a whole day in the sun. And we were getting on average from the solar panel about 80 watts. So sometimes that would go up to like say 91 watts, sometimes a little bit lower if a tiny bit of cloud passed or if it wasn't facing the right direction. So it's a good yield from a solar panel like this. And now please bear in mind, this is the bare minimum solar input you would want for a unit like this. I would say 2 solar sagas would be great, and then go all the way up to 6 if you want to. But just for testing purposes, I just ran 1, which is sort of your bare minimum. Now at 5 p.m. as the sun started to go down, we unplugged the unit and it had gone from 31% to 56%. We then plugged it into the AC output of our truck, so that's your normal 230 volts, that's just running off our inverter. And that charged the unit up in an hour and 10 minutes. And at 6:10 p.m. we unplugged it, it was at 100%. Now that has a sort of a variable charge rate, and that's just to protect the batteries inside. So it drew on average something around 160 amps at first, and that dropped down to around about 90 amps when it was closer to 100% capacity. So we have started today at 100% capacity on the Explorer Plus, and then we're going to go over some real world usage. So we're going to be plugging our refrigerator into it, we're going to be cooking all of our meals on induction off it, we're going to use even potentially the air conditioner, just sort of show you what you might use it for at home or on the road. It's a great little versatile unit, and you can use it for a number of different ways. You could use it in a caravan or a motorhome, you could use it off-grid in like a tiny home setup or a shack, something along those lines. You could also use it for a road trip or full-time touring, and it would also be great as a backup in terms of a power failure. So some places in Australia you might get hurricanes coming through, that sort of a thing. This, especially combined with multiple battery packs, would make a really good backup option, to the point that you could probably run your house for almost a week if you weren't being too ridiculous on your power consumption. Sorry about that, just had to wait for a big flock of black cockatoos to pass. They're so loud. They're awesome. Anyway, so before I do any more filming to show you guys, I really want to run a full day of our appliances off of the Explorer Plus, and then in between I'm going to charge it with the solar blanket. I'm not going to plug it back into our truck at all, and that's going to give you an idea of, yeah, just a real world test. So I will get back to you either at the end of the day or tomorrow morning. Good morning. All right, so it is the next day. So yesterday we ran all of our usual appliances that we would normally run off our truck while we're full-time traveling on the road. We ran that all off the Explorer 2000, and at the same time we had the Solar Saga plugged into the unit as well. It was much cloudier yesterday than it is today, so we weren't getting very much solar at all, so we would have even better results if it had been a sunny day like today. But yeah, we were very impressed with how the unit performed, so let's go over the results. Okay, so bear with me, there are quite a few results, but we really wanted to put the unit through its paces. So we're just starting kind of with breakfast on our induction cooktop. We've got a dual induction stove, but we just used one burner for breakfast. We started the day at 100% on the Explorer. The output of the induction was 1,000 watts. And after cooking, the battery was at 90%. So we used 10% cooking a bunch of pancakes. And we were getting a stat off the screen that was saying it could run like that for 1.7 hours until full discharge. We then plugged the solar in, and because it was a bit overcast and cloudy, we were only getting 22 watts coming in, so not much at all. Then we charged our laptop, so we started with the unit at 90%. We were getting in 30 watts of solar at that time, so we're getting some input at the same time. The output was stating that it was 60 watts, and that said it could run for about 40 hours on average. We then charged our GoPro because we'd been doing some filming. We started at 89% capacity. We were getting 90 watts of solar in at that particular time, and the output was 5 watts. So it said that could run for 99.9 sort of plus hours. Then it was lunchtime, again cooking on the induction. This time it was a larger meal, so we were using both burners, or both elements I should say. We started at 93%, we were getting 80 watts of solar in, and that output of the induction was fluctuating between 1,000 watts and 2,000 watts. We really like our induction cooktop for our setup because it will never go above 2,000 watts even when using both stoves. So just bear that in mind, some induction cooktops are much higher draw. And it was saying that it could run like that non-stop for an hour. We then finished the cooking at 81% total capacity. We then brought the unit inside and we ran our air conditioning. Even though it wasn't a super hot day, we just wanted to run it for a test. We only ran it for 10 minutes. So we started the test at 81% capacity on the Explorer. The output was 600 watts at its lowest, said it could run that for about 2.5 hours. And then the output at max was about 855 watts. And that sort of on average said that it could run like that for about 1.6 hours. We don't normally run the air conditioning straight off our batteries in our truck, but that would have worked, 10 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes. You can really cool the truck down if you close all the windows and doors, and that can work really well on a nice hot day. So we felt like that was a good test for this unit. No one could really expect to run a full air conditioning system off of a battery like this for very long. It would be kind of pointless, but cooling the space down just nice and fast does work well. We then plugged our fridge in. We have a full upright 230 volt normal household fridge in our truck, and it runs off our inverter. We plugged that into the unit, and just as fridges go, they fluctuate. They're not on drawing power the whole time. The compressor turns on and off. We started with our unit at 73% capacity battery. The output was roughly 35 watts, and it said it could run that for about 23 hours. Later on in the day, we then cooked our dinner. That was more just heating up some leftovers. It didn't take too long, but we did use both elements. It was dual mode. We started at 77% because we'd gotten some solar back into the unit before then. The output was only at 67 watts because we were only using it in heat up mode. And we were still even getting solar in at about 6 p.m. We were actually still getting like 43 watts in, and that's kind of when we just turned off the solar. So we finished the day, after a whole day of usage, we finished at 76% capacity. So at that rate, we could have run everything that we normally run and live comfortably off of. We could have run that for easily 3 days, potentially more if it was a sunnier, more consistent sort of sunnier day, and especially if we had more of the Solar Saga 100 watt solar blankets. So yeah, overall, very impressed. It's a great little unit, and then bear in mind you can also add more capacity to this unit with the extra batteries that Jackery sell as well. So hopefully that was a sufficient test to kind of show you guys just how the unit's going to work in a sort of a day-to-day scenario. And bear in mind that some devices you plug into the unit, they fluctuate in terms of power draw. So when it says on the screen how many hours it'll run for, that will fluctuate. So you can't always use that as an exact figure. So just bear that in mind. And that's understandable. That makes total sense. And finally, let's talk prices. So the usual Australian price of the Explorer 2000 Plus is $3,599. And the price of the Solar Saga 100 watt blanket is 499 Australian dollars. Now Jackery is running a big Black Friday sale at the moment with up to 40% off, and I will leave a link in the description for that below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you got something out of this. Overall, very impressed with the Solar Generator 2000 Plus. Any questions, please leave them in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.